AITA for leaving my aunt alone at the pool with her 3 kids. I honestly don't think I'm the asshole here, but apparently I'm a horrible person. So, I, F18, have an aunt who has 3 kids, M2, F4, and F12. I don't see them very often or spend much time around them, but my family is doing a small 4th of July thing today, so we're all together at a local pool, social distancing, masks and less in the water, etc. We're staying at my grandfather's house for a few days, and it's about a 30-minute drive from the pool. This morning when we came up, my grandfather and uncle, kid's father, went to play golf while my aunt took the kids to the pool. I drove myself to the pool in a different car as the aunt and kids usually swim for 6+ hours straight, and I didn't want to stay at the pool for that long. I made it known before we left that I was taking my separate car. I swam with the kids for about 4 hours, but then decided that I was ready to head back to the house. I got up to let my aunt know and she freaked out. She told me that I was being impolite and rude by leaving, and that since she'd bought me lunch I had to stay. She didn't buy it, it was put on my grandfather's account. She said that I was going to make the kids upset and that she didn't want to have to take care of them alone. I told her that I was sorry, but I had stuff that I wanted to do back at the house. She started yelling in the middle of this public pool about how I was ungrateful for not helping and for leaving the kids, how I don't deserve to be up at the house, how I'm being a horrible family member. Of course, now the young kids are crying because mommy is yelling at their cousin and they don't know why. So I just turned around and left. My uncle and my grandfather were already at the house when I got back. My grandfather thinks I'm in the right. They're her kids, not yours. If she can't be alone with them, there's a problem. But my uncle and grandmother are extremely upset that I left her at the pool alone to deal with them. 2/3 of the kids are fantastic swimmers. The youngest is the only one that needs help and to be watched a bunch. I honestly don't think I'm in the wrong, but my aunt isn't speaking to me, my uncle keeps making rude remarks, and my grandmother is passively aggressively saying things to the small children like, "Oh, I know, I'll take care of you." OP isn't very nice, is she? AITA here. NTA, if she can't handle 3 kids, she shouldn't have had 3 kids and they're her responsibility. NTA, you have to babysit her kids so her husband can golf. Nah. Your grandmother is right, they're not your kids. She didn't ask you to watch them. You didn't drive her there. NTA. NTA, your granddad is right. They're not your kids, so they are not your responsibility. I think your uncle, I'm guessing your aunt's husband, is passing the buck and blaming you so the blame won't fall on him for going off and doing his own thing. Seems to me your aunt wanted to space out in the sun and have you do the babysitting. When your plans differed from hers, she proceeded to throw herself a good old temper tantrum. Maybe take grandma aside and let her know that you were with the kids for 4 hours and they only started freaking out when their mother lost her mind and started shrieking at you like a maniac. I wouldn't even take her aside. When she made one of the "I'll take care of you" remarks, I'd say, "Good, it's your turn." I watched them for 4 hours and they only got upset when Auntie decided to start screaming at me in the middle of a public pool because I wouldn't continue to watch her kids. I said before we even went that I wasn't going to be staying the whole time. They're not my responsibility. You two made them point out aunt and uncle so you can take care of them. I am not your free childcare, so back off. NTA. They are not your responsibility. It was not discussed beforehand that you'd be making this contribution. Ganging up on an innocent party sets a bad example for these impressionable children that have such strong reactions to the conversations around them. NTA. If you had been asked to help watch, agreed, then bailed, that would be one thing. Expecting you to just do it then attack you with a lot of emotional manipulation, you're ungrateful, you don't deserve to be at the house, you're making the kids upset, etc., is just WTF. 4 hours is already a long damn time. Also, setting aside for the moment that the meal was put on your grandfather's account, if she had paid for it, it's super shitty to attach imaginary conditions on it. Your aunt, uncle, and grandmother are all being assholes. I'm with your grandfather on this one. Just want to throw a counter option to the aunt being depressed or some other cognitive issue. Just knowing my aunts, none of them are remotely close to ops. I wouldn't be surprised if she was just super pissed that she now had to go in the water. My aunts never went in the pool beyond dipping their feet in. Kids typically would love to stay in a pool for 12 hours straight. Even trying to get them to leave to eat or go to the bathroom is a chore. The 2-year-old needs someone constantly next to them, whether it was at the kiddie pool or in the water with floats on. Would bet good money that the aunt did not go in the water while OP was there and was chilling on a chair the whole time. Now that OP is leaving, she has to either go into the water to manage the 2-year-old. My aunts never swam because they all had hair product in and makeup on and did not want to deal with it being ruined. Deal with convincing the 2-year-old and other 2 kids to leave, as she doesn't want to go in the water and cannot leave the 2-year-old alone. She knows how big of a hassle it is going to be to get the 2-year-old to leave. Even if aunt had no problem swimming, she was still probably hoping to unload the challenge of getting all 3 kids out of the pool onto OP. Even if she has some kind of mental illness issue at play, OP was never told about it and has no real obligation to even consider it could be a possibility. Someone should have pulled her aside prior and said, "Hey, can you please just help Auntie today? She's had a rough time lately." NTA. But my uncle and grandmother are extremely upset that I left her at the pool alone to deal with them. There was nothing stopping her from leaving. I was there for 4 hours. That was enough. I am not here to be a babysitter. I am an adult and I will spend my vacation how I want. Me being younger than you and being related to you is not an opportunity for you to get free babysitting anytime we're together. And yes, I am ungrateful, so don't even bother saying it. My grandmother is passively aggressively saying things to the small children like, "Oh, I know, I'll take care of you." OP isn't very nice, is she? Do it back to her. Oh, you better watch out, X. If you ever think for yourself, Grandma will talk shit about you to other people. NTA, sounds like your uncle and grandma made plans for you without your input. Your aunt sounds like she overreacted, but probably felt overwhelmed at the pool with 3 kids, which can be very stressful, but still not your responsibility. She had a choice though, tough it out or leave. She didn't handle it very well. You spent 4 freaking hours at the pool. That is a lot of time helping out. The big R's here are your uncle and grandma, who are probably in the doghouse with your aunt and taking it out on you, which is not your problem at all. They need to grow up and see that you are not a child that they can make plans for. You could also say, "I didn't see grandma helping out for 4 hours at the pool when she's trying to guilt you," or tell her that her comments are out of line. Usually this type of guilt will stop when addressed directly. You can avoid this situation in the future by setting the expectation of your time with your family until they start respecting your boundaries. "I can stay until, and then I've got to go," and don't negotiate. I still have to do this with my family members, who forget that I'm a grown person with the family of my own and my own priorities. You handled this situation very maturely for your age. Good job. For going to a public pool and swimming with a bunch of kids. This is why cases keep going up. Stay home. Your aunt also sucks extra for putting this on you. It's not your responsibility. Edit. Go on and downvote me, but this is why all the bars in my state closed down again. I just want to go on vacation again one day, and this shit is the problem. NTA. I have absolutely no idea why anyone is agreeing with your aunt. You specifically drove yourself there as it was known you wouldn't be staying the whole time. You are not responsible for the entertainment or supervision of her children. They are her kids and therefore her responsibility. If she didn't want to have to be alone with her kids, she simply could have left too. At no time was it discussed that you were going to help watch entertain the kids, nor was an agreement made. The passive-aggressive comments would drive me nuts.